our Lunch and Learn webinar in the SAP supply chain track. And specifically today, we'll focus on a very interesting and hot topic called digital manufacturing, something which is quite new in the SAP world, and therefore we wanted to, together with our partner Delaware, we wanted to provide you with some insights in this module. Before we continue, I would like to go over some house rules of the webinar. So session will be held in English. Of course, if you have any questions and you feel more comfortable in putting these questions in your native language, don't hesitate. Questions can be submitted, of course, through the chat, or there is a Q&A part at the end of the content that will be presented by Remy. So feel free also to speak up at that moment in time. The webinar is being recorded, so please be aware of that. And this recording and the slides that go along and are shown today will be shared with all of the participants afterwards. So you will get the PDF version of all the slides. Don't worry, you don't need to take any notes or screenshots. Everything will be shared with you. If you have additional questions or anything else that you want to ask the team, don't hesitate afterwards. All the details of the people will be shared, or if you have general questions, don't hesitate to send them to info@sapiens.pe. So hosts of the session, the main host is Remy, who I will let him introduce himself, but he will be the presenter of today, supported by Andy from Delaware. Myself, I am Koen van Antenove, and together with Frederik, we are focus leads within the supply chain group of Sapiens. So if you have interesting topics, or if you want to get in contact with other Sapiens members with regards to supply chain topics, don't hesitate to contact us. In that regard, it is something quite new, the Lunch and Learn sessions. And there might be interesting topics that you have at your companies. So we would like for you to quickly scan the QR code while we are waiting for other people to join. And then it would be interesting to get a view on what you would think would be interesting for a next supply chain Lunch and Learn session. So please feel free to show responses. And this was a test from our side, but please, if you have anything interesting that you want to add, or a topic that you would like to see in the next Lunch and Learn session, please scan the QR code and mention them. I'll give everyone a few minutes. Anything that is regarding supply chain that is happening in your companies, please share, so we can make some interesting content for everyone in the future. And I'll already show the responses. Oh. Okay, an IBP use case. Integration, warehouse, and production, very interesting. Okay, thank you for the people who have participated in providing us with some additional information. Planning versus scheduling, very interesting topic as well. thank you all. I'm going to skip this one. And with that, I would like, just to avoid losing too much time, I would like to hand over the presentation to Remy for the topic, why everyone joined. So Remy, please take over.
Okay, thank you, Koen. All right, I'm gonna open up my slides. Swap. I hope everyone can see my screen properly.
It's visible.
Okay, thanks. So well, thank you, Koen. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining this webinar. My name is Remy. I'm a manufacturing expert and solution architect at Delaware. I've started my career over 10 years ago as an ERP consultant, exploring the manufacturing modules, PM, QM, and PP, and then slowly moved more towards MES-related projects. The past 2.5 years, I've been working on an SAP Digital Manufacturing implementation, and I'm happy to have the opportunity for sharing my experiences here with you today. For those of you who are not familiar with us, Delaware is a global company founded and still headquartered in Belgium that delivers advanced ICT solutions and services, guiding our customers through their business and digital transformations. We do this via our partner network and ecosystem, and yeah, we are proud to be named SAP Platinum partner. More specifically on DM then, in Belgium, we currently have 2 references that are already live. On the one hand, we have Colruyt Fine Food, which is a production division from the Colruyt Group and is producing a lot of private label products such as Boni. It has different types of plants, different types of products such as cheese, wine, coffee, spreads, meat, and bread. And their main challenge was actually digitalizing the shop floor, getting rid of all the paper-based operations. And in parallel, where they are preparing a factory of the future track, where they want a fully integrated shop floor, which fits perfectly in their operational excellence strategy. And on the right, we also have Decospan, which is a company specializing in wood veneer-based products such as panels and veneer sheets. And their biggest challenge here was on integrating the automated warehouse, which requires a tight collaboration between digital manufacturing, EWM, and MFS, so material flow system. So voila. Additionally, we are also collaborating with SAP and in co-developing an industry solution for DM, for the milling industry, which contains a lot of pre-built, custom-made functionalities, very specific for the milling industry. Enough about us. We are here to learn what DM is and what it can do. On the agenda is I will start by introducing what digital manufacturing actually is. I will also then demonstrate a standard order flow, explain what the configuration and extensibility options are, and last I will give a short explanation and demo on what machine integration could look like. All right. Oh, sorry. Okay, but let's start by explaining why DM actually exists. We still see companies actually like Colruyt that without digitalized production operations, where they create an elaborate plan in S4 or other planning tools to create production orders, but then afterwards these orders are printed out or copied into an Excel and then sent over to a shop floor supervisor. This paper is then used to register movements and quality checks, and afterwards they are registered in S4 again, causing mistakes, no visibility, and for planning there is no visibility on the progress until the end of the shift. And SAP DM tries to close that gap. All right. But what is DM? It is a cloud-based MES, manufacturing execution system, which manages and orchestrates all your shop floor activities, from basic order management and execution to workforce scheduling, dispatching, quality control, WIP management. And if used correctly, it should increase your productivity by streamlining your manufacturing processes and reducing paper and manual efforts. You should get real-time insights on performance, order progress, detailed traceability, who did what, when exactly, which tools were used. And yeah, in general, it's actually very flexible to configure and tailor to your needs, which allows for easily adapting to changing requirements or your business needs. It is tightly integrated with S/4HANA and Extended Warehouse Management, so EWM, to get all the orders and the stock, but also send the necessary transactions back. But then there's also an integration with SuccessFactors for workforce integration, DataSphere for creating managerial reports, sorry, and with SAP Cloud ALM, application life management, for monitoring. All right, let's zoom out for a second and look where DM sits in the SAP landscape. Above we have planning. You have your IBP for long-term planning, planning demand and supply, and then PPDS more for short-term detailed scheduling. They provide the plan, send it over to S4, and then PP, let's say, will create the production orders to send in its turn to DM. On the bottom, below them, you see the shop floor itself. We have our machines, operators and sensors that interact with the MES platform. And on the side, sideways towards DM, we have EWM, where DM coordinates with DM EWM everything related to stock. It can request staging, view the stock that is available on the production supply area, and yeah, send consumptions and goods receipts back. All right. Now, when I say cloud-based MES to people who've been in manufacturing for a while, I'll usually get a face. The concern is MES is mission critical. If your MES goes down, your line stops. When your line stops, you're losing money by the minute. Cloud historically meant latency, outages, loss of control. So yeah, fair concern. But that doesn't need to mean fragile anymore. Cloud also means you're current, you're always up to date, and it's maintained. So I want you to take into account or remember three things. First of all, you have quarterly releases. That means you don't have upgrade projects. You're never 2 years behind, and you always have the latest features available, allowing you to further improve your processes via continuous improvement tracks. Secondly, SAP guarantees an almost 100% uptime 24/7. SAP runs your platform. You don't need to worry about it, and you can focus on production. And thirdly, and this is the one that should address your concern, there is edge computing. SAP offers edge components to deal with the time-sensitive part of the mission-critical parts of your production processes, and that can be run locally on an edge component in your plant. If connection to the cloud drops, the line can keep on running. Once the connection comes up again, everything syncs. All right. Enough theory. I want to show you what DM looks like. On this slide, you see a capability overview of DM. We have shop floor execution, work instructions, quality management, traceability, and floor stock management. These 5 on top are more what operators do in their day-to-day activities. And the bottom row are more capabilities for a supervisor. So I'm not going to be able to do everything today. I'm going to focus on highlighting here and there the top 5. All right, I want to do this live, preferably. So I'm going to switch to the system. Voilà. And we start actually out in S4HANA as a very basic launchpad where I want to create my production order. Voilà. I'm gonna produce chocolate donuts, finished product, and I'm gonna make a production order for 200 cartons for today. I have some missing parts, but that's fine. I can ignore that. Release. Again, the warning for missing parts, but it's fine. I'm releasing already, and actually, this is the trigger to send to digital manufacturing, as it's like the handover point from planning to production and the shop floor. And as of now, as the order is released, it can we can start registering transactions. Voilà, the order is created. Remember the number 469. And I'm going to move over to digital manufacturing, which is my second tab. Oh, almost logged out. And actually, it has this is my DM Launchpad. It has a very similar look and feel as S4. It works the same way. You can configure your screen, the tiles that you need. I have a lot of tiles here with all my applications, as I want to have everything available for myself, but it can be configured based on the role that you have. So I'm going to move to the Manage Order app. And you see my order is arrived with status releasable. I don't want to explain everything in the app as it may take me too far, but I just need to be here because I need to release the order. I just want to explain what release in DM means, because we already released the order in S4, but there is a possibility to have, call it a second release in digital manufacturing. The supervisor might still want to be able to do some last-minute rescheduling, depending on what's happening on the shop floor, line breakdowns, missing components. He could wait for certain orders to be executed and reschedule in a later time. Voilà. This is possible to automate if needed, and you don't want the supervisor to bother dealing with this, and then the planner basically decides what's visible or available for the production operator, because it's this release that puts the order on the production operator pot, on the pot for the operators. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and release. So I'm now going to go to the operator dashboard, and that's called POTS. POTS stands for Production Operator Dashboard. Brief explanation what it is. It's web-based. It can be shown on desktops, as I will show here right now and here. But yeah, it can also be used on tablets, rugged tablets, or other devices that have access to the web. SAP provides some standard templates to start from, so that you don't start from scratch, which typically contain the minimum amount of screens to realize the flow. In essence, the minimum to register the transactions that you need for S4, such as goods movements and confirmations. The templates that are mostly used are order pot template and work center template, which is just a different amount of different types of screens. Where the order pot is more catered for process industry, such as food, and work center pot is built for more assembly type processes. So I will be using the order pot today as we are in a food flow. All right, so I've had the default one, which is the one that comes out of the box from S4, and I will launch it from here. But if you have the URL, you don't need to go to this tab. Typically, you have this URL either bookmarked or launched from immediately when you open up the device that you are using. All right. So when I open it, I enter an order list, which is pre-selected for the work center that I am working on. I have a planning range that looks 3 days back, 3 days forward. And yeah, I can configure these columns if I want to. This is the one that comes out of the box, and typically it's sorted on scheduled start so that an operator should always pick the first one in the list. I will now go ahead and open my production order that I just created. And when clicking on it, yeah, you come on a more order detailed page, where on top, yeah, you have an order card displaying some generic order information, such as which material are we producing, the description, when was it planned, and how much we already progressed in the order. On the left, we have our operations. In this case, we have two. We have an operation to box the donuts, and then later on we will palletize them. I will go ahead and start both, because let's assume we are in a line where basically both operations run in parallel or just behind each other. And then on the right or in the middle, you have the main screen, where you have several tabs with several types of screen to get information or perform our registrations. All right, the first one is the operation detail. If we switch operations, the details change. It's not much, but just some basic information. Then moving over to the work list instructions. This tab shows all the instructions that you need for this production order. You can link it to the relevant objects, such as material, work center, depending on what the work instruction is for. And in this case, we have two types of instructions. We have a PDF instruction and a 3D instruction on how to disassemble. I'm just going to open already the PDF. Voila, it's just an embedded PDF inside the system with an instruction on how to deal with instructions. Voila, I think it's quite straightforward and basic and it does the job. You can also obviously create just embedded instructions with just some text combination with pictures or images created in them itself. I think it's in the integration demos that will come later. The 3D is maybe less relevant in food, but I just wanted to show it anyway. And we can have a 3D if you have a cut 3D file. You can embed it here and show and have actually your instruction to, for instance, disassembly this gearbox in this case. Voilà, but not less relevant for food, but I wanted to go ahead and show anyway. Moving on to the next screen, the consumption of our materials. This is a standard one. It just shows the components relevant for my operation. In this case, we have our semi-finished donut chocolate and then some packaging materials. And I can go ahead. I want to consume my semi-finished. I click the consume button, which provides me a pop-up that we need more information. For instance, this material is EWM managed, so I need to provide the handling unit. I can choose from an inventory list that I have available in DM. I see I have 3 handling units available. I will go ahead and take the one with the most on it. Okay, and it defaults how much I need. I don't have enough, and actually I want to consume only 40, for instance. And I just confirm. Voila, the progress bar is updated so that I know I still actually need to consume 560 in this case. But I will just go ahead and move on to the next screen. I'm going to skip data collection. This will take us too far. I just want to show the quantity the confirmation screens. A lot of you probably will recognize them if you work with PP. It looks a bit similar as S4 confirmation screen, but stripped to the essence. In this case, we want to do a quantity confirmation, so meaning we just want to specify how much yield and scrap needs to be registered on this operation. So I will just put in, for instance, 6 and 1 scrap, confirm, and I can monitor and follow up how much already registered in the screen as well. Same principle for the activity confirmations. In S4, you have one screen to do both quantity and activity, but here in DM, it's split up into 2. But you probably recognize the parameters from S4 as well. I can go ahead again, report. I have spent 10 minutes on setup, and let's say our machine and labor time were 30 minutes. Voilà. And last but not least, we also obviously need to produce and register the goods receipt. There is a separate button to go to a separate goods receipt page in where we see the products that we can produce. In this case, we just have one finished product, but if we have co or byproducts, they will also appear in the list. And I can go ahead, similar as other tabs, post what I need to post. We need to provide the handling unit number. I can automatically create one or manually put one in. And I just specify how much I produced. In this case, we're basically creating a handling unit of 40 pieces. Confirm. And the necessary progress bars are updated. Voila. That concludes the order flow. I quickly want to specify how the integration looks towards towards S4. So I go back to my Launchpad and I actually have a integration message dashboard application. Typically more for someone from IT rather than an operator. An operator will not be in here, a supervisor probably not either, but it's good to monitor the interaction between S4 and DM. You see a long list of both failed and completed messages. Someone else is also working on this, but if I want to just filter on everything that is on my order, I think it was 469. Yes, I can just enter it here and it will filter out everything that was related to my order. I'm going to go down to the first one. Around 12:17, I created the order and it was downloaded. It downloaded additional information which we didn't use or need. I released the order in DM, which sent an order status back to S4 that it is released by MES. In parallel, it's also requesting some staging, but we didn't set that up properly for this demo. This triggered a new order download because the order was updated. And then later on, we started doing registrations, the confirmations, a goods issue, we have a goods receipt in here. I'm not going to explain everyone in detail, but I wanted to show that it's easily to monitor. And you can, if you need more details, you just click one. You can see the payload and all the sub messages that are relevant. In this case, when the order is downloaded, he gets some additional batch information, gets also the inspection lot with the inspection characteristics, etc. Voila. This concludes actually the default or standard order flow. But DM actually comes with a large toolbox to configure it and improve the user experience, because here we still had a lot of clicks, and we can improve that quite a lot. And that actually brings us to our next section, which is to extensibility. Go ahead, go back to my PowerPoint. Swap. All right. So making them fit your processes, SAP, we categorize them in 2 main categories. We like to call them adopt and adapt. where adopt is more configuration without coding, and adapt is really development. And with adopt, you can get quite far. It's done by the let's say functional profile on the project, and you don't need developers. On the right side, it is actually coding, so therefore you do need developers. I'm gonna not going in too much detail of every one of them, but I do want to highlight these three, where the pod designer and the production process designer, in my experience, contains 80 or even more % of the work that we do of the build. We used all of them on our projects. But those actually made 80% of the build and the effort, and you can get quite far with those three. So I'm gonna go in more detail on these three. Pod designer, it's what it sounds like, a designer for your production operator dashboard. Idea is simple. Your operator should not have to navigate SAP. SAP should have to come to them. So instead of forcing them to learn a lot of transactions and screens, you build one screen that shows everything what they need. It's no code, it's just drag and drop your components onto a canvas. You get a real-time preview, so what you see is what you get. And you can configure it per role, per line, per product. If you want a different layout for a different plant or a different workstation in your plant, you just create multiple pods. That's no problem. On your left, you see, in this case, the pages that are in the pod. We saw in our demo, we had a main page, which was the order list. We had our order details where we could do the actual work. And then we had a separate screen or a separate page for the goods receipt. In the middle, you have the preview of your pods you are building. You can start deleting what you don't need and add different components on the screen, such as new buttons or other or additional plugins. Plugins I probably should mention are kind of like the widgets that operator deal with, or the screens. So in this screen, for instance, the phase details here is a plugin or the widget. Voilà. Standard subcomponents can cover most of the needs, but here and there, it's not exactly what your process needs, because every production process is different. If that's the case, you can build custom plugins, and then I will explain that a bit more in a few slides. One thing I also want to highlight is that there is a possibility to use iframes into pods. It's to be able to embed external content, such as Grafana dashboards. I mentioned it here already because we will show it later on also in the machine integration demo. All right. Moving on to the production process designer, we often call it PPD, is the second adopt tool that is used the most, and it's one that gets less attention, but is where actually, in my opinion, the magic happens. Pod designer is all about visualization, about the screens. PPDs or production process designs are about logic. So what happens behind the screens when something occurs on the shop floor. The name is a bit misleading because production process, and it's for a production or production system or manufacturing execution system. It's not designing your production process like layout. It's more creating automations. Voilà. You can model these automations in like a visual designer, as you see on the screen. You just drag and drop boxes, you draw lines, you fill in parameters, and the output is a runnable process. It can be versioned, deployable, and transferred from system to system. Two concrete examples to get an idea what these can do. In the first one, and this is one that you see on the screen, it's very basic. When the order is released from S4 to DM, you can trigger this production process at the event order creation, this will just automatically release the order so that you don't have to do that manually. A second one is, for instance, to improve our process that I just saw. Yeah, the goods receipt and the yield, they often are the same if you're not connected to your machines. And you could, for instance, trigger the yield automatically when the goods receipt has been posted so that you don't have to enter the number twice. Voilà. This was a simple one. You can get a much more complicated one with conditions, getting information that are needed in the follow-up service. But I'm just not going to go into much detail here. I'm just going to go ahead and go to the next topic, which is custom plugins. So now we are crossing into adapt territory, meaning we need a developer to do this. When standard components don't cover your specific needs, you build your own. These UI components are embedded in the production order dashboard, and they look and feel just like native DM components. The operator will not be able to tell the difference. It's based on standard web technology, so it's JavaScript and the UI5, and it's running on BTP. Two examples that we have built in the past is a stock overview. For instance, the stock, you could see the stock previously in my previous demo, but you needed to go to the BOM overview, click the consume button in the consume pop-up. There was an inventory button, so a lot of clicks to see what stock that is available. We have built a simple view where you can go to a tab, and I will show it later, stock overview, which just shows the stock that is available at your PSA. So it's simple screens that we can create, making the life of an operator easier and improving their user experience. All right, another two examples of more complicated bot plugins that can be created to deal with byproducts, for instance, because the out-of-the-box byproducts did not suffice enough for the process that we use at Colruyt. And we also have a more complicated BOM overview to deal with alternative components, but I'm not going to go into much detail here. What I do want to do is I do the order again, but in a more improved way to show what's possible with the pod designer and custom plugins. So I'm going to go ahead and go into a system again. Voilà, I'm not going to go start a new order, and I'll just reuse the same one since otherwise it will drag too long. It's this one, launch. Voilà. So I'm now opening a new pod that is customized with our new PPDs, custom plugins, other screens. So I open the same order again. Voilà, and immediately you see other screens. The face details, it's just called info now. And what I want to do is I'll go ahead and start labor on tracking. What this does is start tracking our time, because I don't want to do activity confirmation afterwards. This should be automatically tracked by the system and sent to S4. Right? It's not something that I want to do manually as an operator. This is the plugin that I was referring to. It's just showing all the stock that is available on my PSA and giving me a more easy way to consume my my raw materials. In this case, I will already go ahead and copy a handling unit number. We have a different way of consuming. We call it the consume HU plugin or button, which is again a simplified screen of the consume or the standard consume plugin that you saw earlier. Typically, you call it, you have a scanner, you scan the barcode of the HU number or the SACC code, and I'll just go ahead and do it manually here. This would present you with the content of that handling unit number and how much is still on it. This one piece, I'm going to take a different one because of a wrong one. I wanted to take this one. Consume. And it presents me also with the full quantity of that pallet. So if I consume the full quantity, it's I just need to validate. But if it's only half or partial, I can still change the quantity. Voilà, that's consumption. Also the goods receipt process we wanted to improve because I don't want to go to a separate page as an operator. It looks a bit complicated. And I just want to be able to declare that I have created a handling unit number or a handling unit with the content. So what we created is a declare issue button here, which presents me with the minimum information that I need as an operator, being I want to be able to tell I create a pallet with this amount of cartons. Based on the master data from the material, it also presents me with a full quantity pallet so that I just need to declare and confirm if it's a full pallet. If it's the last pallet, for instance, and it's half one, I can still adjust the quantity. Voila. What you see now is actually, oh, I created a handling unit number. That means I need to inspect that handling unit. So it presents me with a pop-up, and it also redirected me to a quality tab so that I know I need to inspect. You see the handling units. This was from a previous demo, but this is the one that I created now. So I click on it. It just needs to do a simple visual inspection. I'll just go ahead that it's okay. Voila. And actually that concludes what I wanted to show for now of the possibilities of extending the flow. Okay. Moving on to machine integration. Just back to presenter mode. Voilà. So everything that was shown before was more operator facing, but DEM doesn't stop there. It can also talk and communicate with machines. The architecture looks like this. As we already know, we have ERP or S4 on the top that communicates with digital manufacturing. But then below, DM can communicate with the edge layer with the component that's called production connector. And below the production connector, I can talk, I has capabilities of communicating via OPC UA and MQTT. And typically there is even an additional connectivity platform in between the machines and production connector, such as Kepware or Litmus. But two things I wanted you to know about this is machine data flows in real time. So the status of machines or the counts or the parameters or alarms, you can use these to trigger automations in real time. Any change we will see immediately in DM, or it can create pop-ups whenever needed. And second, to close the closed loop part, DM can also send parameters down to the machines. So the recipe, temperature, speed, whatever needed to help the operator be more efficient. Okay. So I'm just going to show the machine integration part. And this one, I will just do via video. Well, what you see now is a kind of ordering screen. Oh, I'm going to do so too fast. We order, we call it our gin flow. We can order a gin with garnish. And we have several orders, possibilities. It's with cinnamon, with dried lemon and cinnamon, or without. it basically influences the bill of material from the order that we are about to create. So the order is automatically sent to S4HANA, which is it immediately released in S4, meaning that it's immediately sent to digital manufacturing. And in digital manufacturing, we have our auto-release flow that I explained earlier. So that means it immediately comes into the pot that you see here. So that's the new order that has been sent by, has been created with the relevant components. You see a component list, the standard one that I showed earlier. We see the work instructions, so it's explaining that we need to pick the components, and we need our picking station to do that. So it goes ahead and starts the order, and you see it sends it to our picking station, and it indicates with a pick-to-like system which garnish he needs to take. So the tree on the right he needs to take for creating that gin. And in parallel, he's now measuring via a scaling device how much he actually needs, or which ones he needs, and that it's validating the weight of the three materials. And if he wants to check something on his device in digital manufacturing, he can easily call up a screen via an SFC tag linked to that device. In this case, so he's going to DM because he wants to see that a statistical process chart of the weight or of the scale. So you see it went up and down and up and down. So it's real-time connection to the scale, and an SPC chart. In this case, it's generated in Grafana, and we use iframe to display this Grafana dashboard. Okay, now we will try to break it. We put too much weight in it. You see on the top the screen, the machine got a red alert, and we also get an alert in digital manufacturing, so we know we need to deal with this. We take it off, we acknowledge the alert, and the machine becomes green again. All right, we stop the order. That means the pick-to-light system can go off, and we send a trigger to the printer that we can print out the label. Voila. Now trying to get back to the PowerPoint. This basically concludes my presentation. I just some key takeaways. DM bridges the gap between your ERP plan and your shop floor reality. The standard order flow is fully connected with S4HANA, so you don't need to worry about custom integration. You can go very far with Adopt Toolbox, your pod designer, production process designer, and you can build quite a lot, fully custom. And the machine integration as shown right now closes the loop all the way down to your assets and equipments. Voila. If you have any questions or you want to, you can always reach out to me or my colleague Andy, who is the functional domain lead of our solution and our team. So feel free to reach out. And I guess I give the word back to Koen. Or are there any questions? Sorry.
Thank you, Remy. Very well presented, if I may say so, and a very interesting session we just had. Just opening the line to everyone. Are there any questions, any remarks, or any additions that people want to see or hear about what was presented? Feel free to put them in the chat or to speak. Okay. If there are none, again, thank you to the Delaware team for preparing this very well overview about digital manufacturing. I think it's a very interesting addition to the SAP portfolio in supply chain, and I'm sure it will enhance our future projects in that area very much. So well done.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for the opportunity. Okay.
With pleasure. I think from Sapiens, I wanted to highlight to all of the people in the session that there are more of these master classes coming your way. So if you want to have an overview of all of them, please have a look at our site, Sapiens, and then BE, and then all events. We listed the most interesting ones related to supply chain or to what Remy and his team showed, Industry 4.0 and the connection here on this slide. So on the 11th, we will, for supply chain, present a session on GTS, similar like the one we saw now, an overview of what is GTS and how can it support your processes in the future. Then a session is to be planned on Industry 4.0, also in a webinar format. And then we want to highlight the 8th of October, we will do a physical event where we will showcase customer stories, interesting topics together with SAP, maybe some business-related topics about supply chain. So if you have any input or ideas, feel free to share them. And a more detailed overview of what will be presented will be shared in the coming period. But please bookmark that date in your agenda, a physical event hosted by Sapiens and its partners on supply chain. And then last but not least, we have our famous user day in the Waarboom in Groot Bijgaarden, where we have all of the customers, not only supply chain, but all of the SAP partners and customers joining to discuss all what is happening at our implementations on SAP. So also make sure to put that one in everyone's agenda. With that, we wanted to thank you all for attending. I'm going to personally react with a big applause again for the presenter and presenters and preparers of these slides. So feel free to join me for that, and feel free also to reach out to these people if you have any more questions, or to the Sapiens team about what you have seen today. For the people who joined late, I want to highlight that everything will be shared after the presentation, after we stop the meeting. So you will receive a PDF with the slides and the link to the recording, which you can use to review today's session. With that, I want to thank you all for joining, and wishing you a nice continuation of your SAP journey today, and hope to see you in a future session. Thank you all. Bye.
Thanks, Koen. Thanks, Remy.